Welcome to Leadership Speak, an advanced Toastmaster club for leadership development. We are one of the top 5 clubs globally. I'm Gada, speaking from Oakville, Ontario, Canada, your sergeant at arms of the meeting. We provide a supportive and positive leadership leading experience in which members are empowered to develop communications and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Leadership is the premier club for experienced Toastmasters to become better self-confident, directed leaders. We are an advanced club focused primarily on leadership development in everything we do. Our timer has virtual hand. All can immediately see who is keeping the time. Our Toastmaster, who will lead our meeting today, is Lydiah Wanjiku, is from Kenya. She is a human resources professional, gender diversity and inclusion specialist. Has been a club president and currently the VBM. She has been a Toastmaster since 2021, has a passion for wellness, gender, and supporting youth and women. She is a member of East African Women Legal and Kenya National Horticultural. Please help me welcome the Toastmaster of the day, Lydiah. Lydiah, the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Gada, for that great introduction. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from. Welcome to Leadership Speak. I'm honored to be your Toastmaster for the day. The meeting today has a very good theme, authentic leadership. And before we dive into our meeting, I want to speak to our most important people. These are our guests. If you are a guest, you are the most important person in this meeting and feel welcome. Please do us one favor. A member of the committee in Leadership Speak is going to share a visitor's book in the Zoom chat, and there is a link that we request you to use that link and register. Let us get to know you more. Who are you, and how can we be of help in your leadership journey? And if you can stay with us until the end of the meeting, we will have a chance to engage with you. In the meantime, enjoy our meeting. Let me see if at all it has been posted. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, our theme today is authentic leadership. Authentic leaders embody integrity, empathy, transparency by aligning their actions with their core values and purpose. They demonstrate integrity through honesty, ethical behavior, and consistency. In their commitments, fostering an environment of trust and open communications. In time of change, Authentic leaders distinguish themselves by taking responsibility for their actions and staying true to their values. They motivate teams through their integrity, vision, serving as role models who inspire others to pursue shared goals with a passion and purpose. And that is why at Leadership Speak, we don't sugarcoat. We give real feedback, speak with clarity, listen with humility, holding each other to high standards. That's how trust is built. As we dive in our meeting, first of all, I would like to call our toast to give us the toast today. And I'll call upon Toastmaster Geda Felix.
Toastmasters of the day, Gorida is not able to make it. I will be the covering toast for today. This is Holmes. Zoom Master, can I be spotlighted, please? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Holmes. How are you, Holmes? Welcome.
Thank you so much, Lydia. It's my pleasure to be here, and I'm honored to be able to talk about authentic leadership today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever from the world you may be. Let us take a moment here to reflect. Today, in the whirlwind of performance, positioning, and perception, there is one quality of leadership that remains both timeless and rare: authenticity. Authentic leadership is not about how loud you speak, how impressive your title is, or how perfect your slides look. It's about how aligned you are, inside and out. It's not a performance, it's a practice, a daily practice. It begins in the quiet moments when no one is watching, and shows up in the public ones where everyone is. It's saying what you mean kindly, doing what you said you would consistently, and standing for something even if it's not convenient. Authentic leadership is like carrying a compass. A compass doesn't change depending on who's watching. It doesn't shift with pressure or popularity. It points to the north. Always. And true leaders do the same. They don't sugarcoat. They don't chase for approval. They speak with clarity, even when words are difficult. They admit when they've changed and own it with grace. They set a standard, not just in what they expect from others, but in how they live daily. Authenticity isn't about being raw or unfiltered. It's about being anchored. Anchored in the values that you believe in. Anchored in the purpose you have chosen for your life. Anchored in what you truly believe matters. And here's the beautiful part about authenticity. Authentic leaders do not need to be loud to be heard. They don't need to be flashy to be followed, because what they build through trust, consistency, and presence is the kind of leadership that people by default remember, respect, and want to follow. Members and guests, today I invite you to raise your glasses. We are toasting to the ones who choose alignment over applause, to those who trade performance for presence, for convenience, for conviction, those who guide not with bravado, but with quiet integrity, to the ones who aren't always celebrated, but always trusted, to the leaders who carry the compass, and to the rest of us, may we grow step by step into the kind of leadership too. I invite you, raise your glasses, unmute yourself, and we cheers to authentic leadership. Cheers to authentic leadership.
Cheers.
Back to Toastmaster of the day, Lydiah.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Homestake. And to move us to the next step, let me call our timer Toastmaster, Deputy Tak. Deputy Tak, over to you to tell us about your role.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all the fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'm timer for today's meeting. I will time each speaker according to the agenda and signal using virtual backgrounds. These are the 3 backgrounds. And after each segment, I will post the timing results in the chat. Thank you, and over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Deputy. And next, let me call upon our grammarian, Robin Stone. Robin Stone, to tell us about. Thank you very much. How are you, Robin?
I'm good, thank you. And it's great to
Joining
be
us
here
from which
today.
country?
Madam Toastmaster, ladies and gentlemen, guests, it is my pleasure to be your grammarian today. It's my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to language usage. I'll take note of improper use of language, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. And for today's meeting, the word is vulnerable, as you can see on my background. I chose this word, incidentally, because I too trip over it. It's not an easy word to pronounce, so good luck with that. It means being open to others and prepared to expose oneself. So an example, for example, he was prepared to risk his reputation by being vulnerable. So each speaker is encouraged to use this word at least once and to be vulnerable in that. And at the end, when called upon to do so, I will give the grammarian's report. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, our grammarian, and we are looking forward to your report at the end of the meeting. Before I invite our education speaker, let me remind our special guests to kindly register in the visitors book that will be reposted again on the Zoom chat. Please take a few. Thank you very much, Irene, for posting the visitors book on the chat. Visitors, you are highly encouraged to register there. I would like to invite our education speaker, who is Homestake. He is the president-elect of Leadership Speak and works as a project manager with the Singapore government. He believes authentic leadership is clarity in action, where what we believe, say, and do are aligned. A key part of authentic leadership to him is the ability to acknowledge our vulnerabilities and brave work on them with mentors, coaches, and growth partners, like our fellow members here in Leadership Speak. Let me welcome his evaluator, Irene, to tell us more about his education, his title on the Education Speak. Welcome, Irene.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the day. Today, our education speaker, Holmes Teng, will be delivering a speech that is a keynote speech, and the focus is on authentic leadership. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Irene. Toastmaster Holmes Teng has researched on our theme today, authentic leadership. Welcome, Toastmaster Holmes, to take us through your education speak. Over to you, Toastmaster Holmes.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the day, Lydiah. Have you ever found yourself in a meeting saying things you don't fully believe in just to keep the peace, keep things moving? Or perhaps have you ever laughed at something inappropriate just to avoid being singled out as that person that's not with us? Or have you perhaps stayed silent when you should have spoken out? Members and guests, I have been in such positions, and I've also spoken to dozens of professionals, managers, and executives who had that moment. And in their minds, they later tell me what they were thinking of is they were afraid to rock the boat. They didn't want to be seen as someone who is difficult to work with. And some of them, to my dismay, even told me, isn't that realistic leadership? That's pragmatic leadership? Wow. But here's the thing. This is what I've learned over time. Each time we choose comfort over alignment, something in us begins to drift. And when leaders drift long enough, so does trust. The trust that you have in yourself, with yourself. The trust that your team has with you. And even your customers and your stakeholders on your brand, your company, and your very integrity. Is that who you want to be? Is that the position you want to be? I assume not. And today, I want to talk about authentic leadership. Not as a buzzword or a TED Talk title, some nice to have thing, but it is clarity in action. It is an ongoing discipline of what we believe, what we say, and what we do. It is an ongoing discipline of aligning what we believe, what we say, and what we do. And most of all, authenticity isn't a slogan. It's a daily standard. It's a daily standard, my friends. It is not performative. It is not reactive. It is not convenient. My sharing today will have 3 components. Number 1, what is authentic leadership? Number 2, why does authenticity matter now? And number 3, how are we going to do it on a daily basis? Let's jump straight into it. What is authentic leadership? I think the best way to understand authenticity and authentic leadership is to compare 2 concepts that I have here. As leaders, we will have strategies, we will have ideas, we will have tools, we have many things at our hands as we exercise our leadership. And when it comes to authenticity, the basic question is simply, is it a mask? Is it a costume that you have that based on different situations that you're facing, you're going to change? Is that how you are as a person? Or do you deem it as a compass of your life? A compass that guides you through storms, distractions, and pressure. And I want to challenge everyone here. This is what authenticity is. When you have an alignment of your beliefs, your words, your actions as one. It doesn't mean being raw or impulsive. It's being anchored in truth, in values, and in your own inner clarity. Leadership scholar Bill George describes authentic leaders as people who are deeply self-aware, people who are guided by personal values, people who are committed to meaningful purpose. And these people are builders of real trust-based relationship. Let's talk about one case of authentic leadership. Some of you may recognize this gentleman here, Ratan Tata. This is back in 2008. Mr. Tata is already 70 years old. Terrorists attacked Mumbai, and one of their targets was the iconic Taj Mahal Palace Hotel, a hotel owned by the Tata Group. This is not just any business. It is a symbol of the Indian heritage and hospitality. As I read this news, I asked myself, would majority of executives choose to manage a crisis from afar? Hey, there are gunshots there. It is life and death. Or will those executives be as near as possible as the security will allow on site? This is what I believe is authentic leadership. There was no need for press releases of where the chairman was, no PR campaign, just being present. And the way that Mr. Tata acted shows that under his leadership, the Tata Group is not just building companies, they are building values. That is authenticity. It shows up not when everything is going well, but when everything is being tested and you still hold true to what matters. I invite you, take a moment to reflect. In your leadership journey, were there times you chosen reputation over alignment? What would the situation look like had you reversed your choice? Take a moment. And as you are reflecting, I believe you start to realize why authenticity matters now. This is how I view the world that we are in. A performance. We are in an age of performance. On social media, we perform our values. At work, the confidence that we are eliciting may be a performance too. And fellow leaders, perhaps even the authority that we are given in our jobs, our community services, our lives. Perhaps some of us sometimes are also just performing that authority instead of truly embodying the authority. There is a cost, a very real cost. Trust. Trust is your cost. It's our cost as we act. As we perform, we lose the trust. The situation in this world is not pretty. According to the Admin Trust Barometer in their 2024 research, more than 50%, more than half of employees worldwide do not trust their leadership is doing and saying what is right. I still bear some optimism. I don't think it's because that human beings are inherently bad. But I do think there is something that leaders are not doing properly. They are not aligning consistently what is being said and what is being done. I believe that our colleagues, our employees, and the people that we are serving are not expecting us to be perfect as leaders. We are not gods. We are human. But there is a fundamental criteria here that we be real. Let's look at one case. My friends, do you recognize this? Do you recognize the beautiful characters here? What are their similarities? Yes, they are all very good looking like I am, but that's not the real similarity that we're talking about here. They come from a very amazing company, Pixar. Pixar caught my attention because of the creativity that they are oozing out. And when I researched, I found that it was not always that Pixar would be able to do well in terms of creativity. There was a moment in time where their leader, Ed Catmull, realized that team members weren't speaking up at meetings. They feared being judged. He did something that I agreed with. He implemented feedback circles. And the way that he implemented it created safe spaces for critique, what he called brain trust sessions. These weren't fake team building exercises. These were intense, respectful spaces where people gave unfiltered feedback without ego. That changed Pixar's culture. There's a fundamental question here that this story brings us. When we are leading our team, especially in meetings where we are present as leaders, if someone was to quietly ask our team members, do you believe you will be punished for speaking up? What would our team members say? What would our team members say? Amy Edmondson, a Harvard professor, defines psychological safety as a belief that you won't be punished for speaking up. And it's not built through slogans or mission statements. Psychological safety can only be present when there is consistent, real action following through on a daily basis. This is the demand that I believe all of us here as leaders are called to do, to build psychological safety. And this is something I'm quite proud of as the president-elect of Leadership Speak. We are building a culture of self-directed leaders here. We are not interested in sugarcoating. When we believe that something is well done, we'll tell you. When we believe that something can be improved or ought to be improved, we'll tell you in the face without flattery. At the same time, if it was me or any other of my EXCO members and leaders, when it is time for us to listen, we will listen with humility and we will respond and speak with clarity. This is why there is deep trust within the club. And this is one of the key reasons why we are the top, if not one of the top 5 clubs of the world. I'd like you to reflect for a moment. Think back to a time when someone's authenticity made you instantly trust them. Why were they able to do this? Was it their honesty? Was it that they worked consistently? Was it their courage? Or better still, a combination of all these 3. Take a moment. This brings us to the 3rd segment of my sharing today. How do we practice authenticity on a daily basis? I'd like to offer you 3 role models to extract 3 principles. Firstly, Tim Cook. Being authentic doesn't mean being blunt or abrasive. It simply means you have the courage to be clear, even when it's uncomfortable. Tim Cook, Apple's CEO, isn't flashy. He doesn't command attention with big gestures or bold charisma. But when he speaks, notice, people are listening. His words are clear, measured, and aligned with his deep personal as well as company values. In 2016, the FBI asked Apple to unlock an iPhone for a terrorism case. Most expected Apple to comply. I did. Instead, Tim Cook wrote a public letter calmly explaining Apple's refusal. Apple has a responsibility to protect customer data and customer privacy. Compromising that would threaten everyone's security. Notice here, there is no shouting, even through his choice of words. There is no posturing. Hey, I win! He simply stood firm with grace. It is conviction with restraint. A second role model. This is I.M. Pei, the architect of the real pyramid. When Pei was proposing his idea, he faced very fierce backlash for having a glass pyramid in front of Louvre. Critics called it modern vandalism. It's vandalism. But he stood firm, not out of his ego, but because the design symbolized openness, light, and clarity. Today, it is one of Paris's beloved landmarks. A third role model, Marie Kondo. You may remember her for how she may be obsessed over the neatness of a house, throwing things out when it's not needed. She did help many people declutter their homes, their lives, symbolizing minimalism and perfection. And her books and Netflix series emphasize precise order and tidiness. But in 2023, after having her third child, she shared something that was surprising to me. She said, "My home is messier now, and I'm okay with that. My home is messier now, and I'm okay with that." She admitted that while she still believes in the joy of tidying, her priorities shifted. She now values time with her family over spotless counters. This wasn't giving up. It's growing up. It's letting go of an ideal when it no longer serves your life. And that's accountability. Not to an audience, but to her own evolving truth. When we look at authenticity, then, it is not about charisma. It is really about clarity in what you mean, what matters for you, and how you are accountable for the things that you are doing, especially when no one is watching. Authentic leaders aren't always the loudest, but they are the most trusted, the most followed, the most remembered. Because authenticity isn't a slogan, it is a daily standard. In times of chaos, people don't follow noise. They follow alignment. They follow the one holding the compass, not the one wearing a beautiful costume. Leaders don't perform. Don't perform. Lead in every opportunity. Lead with authenticity as your daily practice, because it is your daily practice. Thank you so much. Back to Toastmasters of the day, Lydia.
Thank you very much, Holmes, our president-elect. You've given us very powerful insights on authentic leadership. Authentic leadership is not a slogan. It is a daily standard. Your insights were very authentic. It is about being accountable. And that is what we learn in Leadership Speak. Let me come back to our guests, very important people in this meeting. How are you faring on? I once again invite you to sign on the guest book and give us your comments, feedback. We appreciate your feedback because in Leadership Speak, we give honest feedback. We don't sugarcoat. We give real feedback. I request you once again to click on the link from the visitor's book and give us more details about yourself. Give us the feedback. Thank you very much. Now we are moving to the next part of our meeting. The next part of our meeting is the prepared speeches, and we have our speakers who have prepared their speeches. Our first speaker, we have Hannah Schmidt, who will be evaluated by Eirini Asimina. Hannah Schmidt, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Irene, how are you? Let me welcome Irene to tell us more about Hannah's speech and the project as well. Irene, over to you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Lydia. I hope you all can hear me loud and clear. Today, Hannah's project is part of the visionary communication, and she's about to speak about something really hot. How vulnerable is our planet? So Hannah will give us some knowledge and finally will call us on action. So without further ado, I'm passing the stage to Hannah and wish her lots of luck. Hannah, back to you.
Thank you very much, Irene, for that information. Now we are going to welcome Hannah to give us her speech, and her title is Planet Earth. Planet Earth, Hannah Schmidt. Over to you, Hannah.
Imagine you stand at the beach for your early morning swim, yet instead you did plastic bobbing on the waves. Beneath your feet, the sand is speckled with small plastic pellets. Look up in the sky. It is marked with white streaks. Is this the planet Earth we envisioned to spend our lives on? Or the warning we overlooked, just simply ignored? Madam Toastmaster, an ocean filled with plastic. Can you imagine that? Land and sea littered with microplastics, and the sky marked with white streaks. Is this the legacy we desire to leave for our future generations? Do we have a vision to improve the situation? Yes, we have. Since we have played a role in this problem, Aneli said, we must assist in resolving it. Carl Jung said, who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. Reflecting inward, I envision a world where awareness sparks meaningful action, even in response to the slightest environmental pollution threat. Realizing this vision necessitates collaboration across every area of our planet Earth. The oceans, the land, and the skies. As I've shown, the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, or as they call it, GPGP, located between Hawaii and California, is a massive area in the ocean renowned for its large buildup of plastic and debris, covering an area of twice the size of Texas. It vividly demonstrates the profound consequences of our everyday negligent and impulsive behaviors regarding waste. There's another lesser known type of plastic most people aren't aware of. Have you heard about a nurdle? I've shown it to you in the picture. Do you know what it is? If, put your thoughts in the chat box, I'll read them later. Nurdles are tiny lentil-sized pellets. They may be invisible to most, but their impact is massive. They pollute our oceans, our environment, harm wildlife, and harm our health. Infiltrating the food chain. Birds and marine creatures think it's food and gobble it. This can lead to choking, suffocation, and death. Inhalation of these particles may also result in our lung damage. Even the skies have a story to tell. We often gaze at the skies for inspiration and admire those white streaks up there. However, when I look up, I see danger. Those white lines are warning signs. They are called contrails or condensation trails. They are narrow, cloud-like streets that form when water vapor from the aircraft engines condenses and freezes at high altitudes. Contrails can trap outgoing infrared radiation, contributing to a warming effect that influences regional and global climates. Ladies and gentlemen, oceans and coastlines are inundated, littered with pellets. I plan to start local initiatives to tackle this plastic pollution. Our environment is littered with nurdles. I possess a clear and profound personal goal to eradicate nurdle pollution at its origin. Contrails pollute the skies. As a speaker and a leader, I motivate others to raise awareness to promote innovative practices globally. Climate change is ongoing. It is unyielding. Let us not elevate our voices, or let us elevate our voices not in protest, but with genuine intent. We can lead. Our voices are concerned, and we can take action. Here's the thing. I actually thought, take action is for the others, for the scientists, for the politicians, and environmental scientists, until I realized I am also that someone. Therefore, let us collaborate it. Dear Toastmasters, we possess, if we choose to act. Before I share my vision, I would like to share words from a song by Andres Mattes. Fresh air coats my lungs in uncertain times. Feels so rare. This air could last a lifetime. Let's inspire, let's empower our communities with understanding and reverence for our nature, to safeguard and revive what has been lost for the benefit of our future generations. Planet Earth is waiting. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Hannah. Planet Earth. Thank you. Now we are moving to our next speaker. Our next speaker is Sandra Valks, who will be evaluated by Phibian Joseph. Let me call upon Phibian to tell us about the speech of Sandra and the project. How are you, Sandra?
I'm super duper, ready to roll.
Thank you. Thank you. Phibian, how are you?
Hi, good morning. I'm fine, thank you.
Over to you, Phibian.
Good morning, Toastmasters and guests. Today I am privileged to evaluate Sandra, and the purpose of her speech is for her to prepare a project to learn about different communication styles and to identify her primary communication style. So today, Sandra will be presenting to you on a new approach in her communication style. So we are privileged to witness something new and fascinated from Sandra. And I'm sure we all can't wait to hear that.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Phibian. Sandra, straight talk with a wink. Sandra says, the world is changing rapidly. Technology is forever leaving us in the dust, catching our breath, hoping we can at least recognize what is coming at us. Communication is also a complex, multi-layered, and interesting experiment in showing up. Help me welcome our compassionate queen of straight talk, Sandra Valks, as she takes us on a journey of straight talk with a wink. Straight talk with a wink. Sandra Valks, over to you.
Toastmasters says we each have a communication style. Just 4 neat little boxes. There's direct, supportive, initiating, and analytical. So I thought, okay, I'll play along. But instead of just picking one, I decided to ask people from all around the world if you had to describe my communication style in a few words, what would you say? Well, let me tell you, the answers, they did not disappoint. One person said, "You're like a TED Talk, met a stand-up comic, had a podcast baby, and that baby grew up to coach people over coffee." A TED Talk, stand-up comic, podcast baby. Another called me a friendly tornado. You come in hot, shake things up, but somehow we're laughing and learning by the end. One paused, tilted their head, and said, "You're intense, but in a good way, like Dorman's espresso or a truth serum." At this point, I knew I had my speech, because that is the real story of my communication style. Not just the 4 boxes, but how they come to life in me. So let's look at these Toastmaster styles and where I land. Direct means get to the point, results focused, no fluff. Check, that's me. No surprise there. I am the compassionate queen of straight talk after all. I will tell you the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. I don't use truth as a weapon. I use it as a mirror. And if you're not ready, that's okay. I've had clients walk away. "You're too much for me," and come back years later ready to do the work. Supportive means kind, patient, safe space. I've been told I have a heart of gold, and I own that. People say I connect before correcting. Isn't that beautiful? That I connect before correcting, that I make them feel safe and seen and heard, even when I'm challenging them. One person said I speak freely with compassion, like a hug that hands you homework. And I love that. I really am here to nurture and to stretch you. Initiating? Oh yeah, that's where the humor comes in. Someone said, "You make me laugh, think, and want to be better, all before I finish my Dorman's coffee." I use storytelling, laughter, even a little drama in a good way, to bring messages to life. Because communication isn't just about speaking. Truly, it's about connecting. Oh yes, I can get analytical too, especially in coaching. Have you ever heard me give a feedback? Detailed, constructive feedback? People say my written evaluations are thoughtful, clear, and encouraging. I just don't tell you what. I explain the why. Interesting results, though, seriously, were that the 18 people, yes, I contacted 18 people from all around the world, and here's what they found. They found me direct, supportive, while Toastmaster results had me pretty balanced overall, but Toastmasters had me analytical, supportive, initiating. Now I went to AI, and AI summarized me as direct, supportive hybrid with initiating flair and analytical depth. So no, I don't live just in one box. I blend, I flex, I adapt. But underneath it all, there's one thread. I speak with purpose, and I speak from the heart. I'd say that's the vulnerability we're looking for. I'd say that's the authenticity we're looking for. We don't need to come here and be all set up and say, this is the way it's done at Toastmasters. Yes, there's a structure and a way to do it at Toastmasters, but it doesn't have to be the only way. And when you allow Toastmasters to be your laboratory, your experimental place, you're going to blossom into authenticity, connecting with the heart, getting over yourself. My goodness, if I had to worry about how I look every day and the mess on my desk and the work I'm doing, I'd never come to Toastmasters because I'd never be ready. You'd miss me if I wasn't here, wouldn't you? So yes, I do speak with purpose and I speak from the heart. And so what's my communication style? I'd say it's bold and warm, fierce and kind, a blend of truth and tenderness, laughter and learning. I don't fit neatly in the communication style box. I break the box, then use it as a stage. Because if I'm not speaking with truth, heart, and a little humor, like what's the point? Communication isn't about getting the words perfect. It's about being real enough that people remember how they felt when you spoke. And if I've done that at Toastmasters or anywhere in my life, whether in a coaching session, a classroom, a Zoom call, or right here, if I've done that, then I've done what I came to do. Do people remember you? Do they remember what you said or how you made them feel? Because I'm sure at the end of the speech, you're not going to remember all those words I had in there. But I think you'll remember this old pink-haired fool having a clown as my partner in this serious life. That's what I hope for each of you. Do people remember you, Toastmaster?
Thank you. Sorry. I was not able to unmute myself. Thank you very much, Sandra. Straight talk with a wink. Communication is about connecting. Speaker who is Luciano Joao, who will be evaluated by Francois Bowen. Can they be spotlighted? Luciano, how are you?
I'm doing good. Yourself, madam? Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Francois, how are you?
Certainly, thank you.
Francois, thank you very much. Over to you to give us the project and the speech for Luciano Joao.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry if I'm interrupting. It's my internet connection been dropping in and out. So I hoping this is me being called to give the purpose statements.
Yes.
Okay. The purpose of this project is for the member to introduce themselves to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech. Now, Luciano has given to me what are the things that he wants me to look out for, and I'll be doing that and give my report when I'm giving my evaluation at the end. Back over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Francois. Luciano Joao. Start of my journey, Luciano Joao. Over to you.
It was around the 20th of May, 2016. I received a message, an email. Someone telling me, do you want to join Toastmasters? 1 week prior to that, I didn't know what Toastmasters was. But luckily, I was reading a book, The Power of Focus, by Mr. Cranfield, where one of his recommendations was join a Toastmasters Club if you want to improve your public speaking. That's how my journey started in Toastmasters, receiving that message and reading the book, The Power of Focus. And I replied yes to that answer, to that question from a colleague from work. And then this year marks my 10th year in Toastmasters. What a wonderful journey it's been. By the way, I'm Luciano Joao from Angola. I'm a chemical engineer by trade. I work as a process safety engineer. That's what I am. I'm asked all the time, Luciano, where did you learn to speak this way? What did you do in order to be good at public speaking? Because my colleagues have fear when it comes to do public speaking. I love it. I enjoy it. It's part of me. I found my voice in Toastmasters. I found my voice and it gives me so much energy. All of this was made possible because of my journey. And today, this year, I've been in this journey for my 10th year. 10 wonderful years. And today, I'm starting a new pathway. That's why I'm doing the icebreaker, which is my project right now. I'm doing my pathway in strategic relationship. The beginning, once you learn a skill, you always have to go back to first principles so that you don't forget the basics. And when it comes to public speaking, you have to know how to introduce yourself. It's a skill that you can only be good at it once you practice, you practice, you practice, you practice, and you continue practicing. That's what I've been doing for the past 10 years. You improve by practicing. The more you practice, the more you improve, the better you become. And that's an important skill. In my journey in Toastmasters, in my new pathway, what do I want to achieve at the end of the day? What do I want to achieve? That's a question I ask myself. But I also ask you, what do you want to achieve in Toastmasters? You need to be able to answer that question so that that drives you in order to get what you want to get. My answer to that question is, I want to become a better communicator. I want to inspire people to communicate because communication is the number one point. That's what I want to do. I want to become better at communication. In the personal space, in the professional space, we always communicate. And we even communicate without speaking, without opening our mouths. We're already communicating. And how do you become good at it? Only by working at it. And that's why I'm starting my new journey today with my icebreaker. I have to go back and repolish my basic principles to improve in order to become a better communicator. That's my objective. What's yours? What's your objective in Toastmasters? And always have that objective in front of you because that will keep you going. That will be the north. On the compass, you have the north, you have the north and you have the true north. So that will be the north point that will indicate in your journey, where are you going? That's extremely important. That's extremely important. Be able to answer that question. And today, I'm starting my new journey. Thank you. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Luciano, Joao. Start of my journey. Our last speaker, Bindu. Bindu's speech, Bindu's evaluator will be Veronica Zuze. Can I welcome Veronica to tell us about the speech for Bindu and also the project?
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. This afternoon, I'm privileged to introduce the speech objectives for Toastmaster Bindu. Toastmaster Bindu is here to tell us about her speech, which will cultivate an understanding on how your emotions impact your relationships. The speech is also designed to help you identify how others' emotions impact your emotional speech, your emotional state. This is the purpose of Toastmaster Bindu's speech this afternoon. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Veronica. Hi, Bindu.
Hello. Hello.
Thank you very much, Bindu. Bindu's speech is, who are you? Who are you? Bindu Thakappan. Welcome, over to you, Bindu.
Have you ever been worn out and burn out and emotionally enslaved? I was. In my initial days of my career, my mantra, being a doctor, was work as worksheet, and punctuality was my key word. We had 3 consultants in my department, and the work was shared equally. In January 2025, I thought upskilling myself by enrolling a course. To my misfortune, one of the colleagues resigned. I was bombarded with that extra work. Little did I know that the emotional response to that extra work was going to boomerang me by the impact it created among my junior as well as my senior staffs. Mina, our chief neurotechnologist, used to come daily late. And here I was. Mina, why are you so late? Don't you know? If you don't keep punctuality, you better sit at home. Putting patients first should be your motto, not yourself first. Understand? Mina would stand, tears rolling down her cheeks. For me, work always very, very paramount. So those days I used to come very late back to my home, and my 2 young kids will be waiting eagerly to see me. Mom, don't you want to know what we had today in school? Don't listen. I'm done for the day. little kids, they used to be very, very fearful. And they go to their own room. Now, this was continuously going on. I was jamming when I encountered the project, Understanding the Emotional Intelligence. Initially, thought super intelligent, and nothing can beat me. After reading the pages, I thought this anger is literally beaten me without me being aware of it. Journaling I did very many years back, but now I had so much work that I don't do. That was my philosophy. Here I am for the project, writing down and reflecting myself. And what I did? Utter mistakes which had disastrous consequences. You know how? On reflecting, I came to know that Meena never was efficient. Whenever I scolded on those days, she never could complete the total work that I was given to her. And one day, my son Mukundan cried and told, Mama, I lost that opportunity to play cricket to school. You know why? Because you did not pay the money that I had to. And I was really speechless. How did he become so angry to me? It was so painful for me that I was culprit for whatever consequences that he is now suffering. This was an eye-opener. It was during that time when my friend Nzinga pitched into my office. She saw me screaming as usual at Nina. She said, Bindu, you're a grumpy, furious perfectionist. What is this? I understood that I was driven. I was enslaved by anger, nothing else. I went into active listening school, journaling, as well as meditation. But of all the three, what really helped me a lot was active listening skill. You know what I did? I befriended Meena and started asking. She said, Madam, I have a 3-year-old daughter who is the Down syndrome. And whenever I step outside in the morning, she would cry incessantly. I was taken aback. I cursed myself for not understanding her, not even listening to why she was late all the time. Neither did I listen to my children when they come in front of me, telling all that happened in the school. Little did I know that this anger had jeopardized whatever I wanted to build, whether it's in work front or the home front. You know why? Because being angry, I could not judge. I was just in that survival mood. I could not use or make decisions very tactfully. Second, I lost a relationship. It's relationship that I could have with my children and my workmates. I was branded as angry Bindu. Just like Angry Bird, literally people came to know me like that. Now, dear Toastmasters, what do you want yourself to be named as? The emotionally intelligent you or emotional enslaved, burned out you. Decision is yours to take. Who are you? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Bindu. Very insightful. Who are you? We are able now to understand who are we. Thank you. Before we ask the Zoom master to share the polls for a better speaker, let me go back to our important guests. Just in case you got lost or you got overwhelmed because of the speeches, please, you have an opportunity. The guest book is going to be posted once more for you to click on the link. Give us feedback. Thank you very much, Irene. Tell us who you are. Let's get to know how we can support you in your leadership journey. This is all what we get in Leadership Speak. May I ask the Zoom master to share the poll so that we can get the better speaker? Thank you very much, Zoom master. So must I see their education speaker is reading Nzinga? Or it will change to Holmes? Okay, now let's go to the next segment, which is general evaluation. And our general evaluator will be Toastmaster Holmes Tech, who is a president-elect of Leadership Speak. Holmes, over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the day, Lydia. It's a pleasure to be the general evaluator for today. As general evaluator, I'll be calling out each of the evaluators, and after each evaluation, I'll give a short comment on where the evaluator may be able to excel even further in a future evaluation. At the end of all the evaluations, I also give some general comments for the entire meeting. First up, I'd like to invite the evaluator for Toast, Rozy Rana. Rozy is someone who believes that authenticity builds trust, and trust is what builds true connection. Hence, it is important as a leader that she can be authentic and earn the trust of her team members. Hello, Rozy. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you, Holmes. How are you?
I'm doing good. Now, Rozy, over to you for your evaluation.
It's my pleasure, Holmes, to be evaluating your toast. A toast is a celebratory speech, and today you truly honored the theme of authentic leaderships. You brought out, or you shone the light on very many qualities, from the fact that it's timeless, it's rare, it doesn't shift to pressure, it doesn't bow to popularity, that it's about values, it generates trust, it generates respect. I thought that was really, really very well done. If anything, it was extremely well researched, and considering that you boldly stepped in when our speaker, our toast, the person who was scheduled to deliver this toast couldn't make it, no one would have been wiser, because it was delivered with grace, it was delivered powerfully. Your words were not overpowering, but they were so grounded in sincerity, they were authentic and really well delivered. Holmes, I couldn't commend you more, and perhaps it was just fortunate that you were the leadership education speaker, because you had so many qualities. If I was to recommend elevating it in any way, first, when you start, you had a beautiful second line. I wouldn't have preferred, rather than the good morning, good afternoon, good evening, etc., dive in right away with the rare and timeless, no, the timeless yet rare practice. I think that's what you said. That was beautiful. It would have set the tone, the intention, and you would have gone there. Secondly, to make it more heartfelt, to bring in the emotion, I would have liked you to either bring in a little story or even a shared memory, something that happened very recently at Leadership Speak, where somebody evaluated, added value. It was authentic, maybe painful, but authentic. It helped a speaker, raised impact. I think that would have really, just what you said, aligned it with emotion and brought it to a natural close. All in all, beautiful, powerful toast, well delivered, really shone the torch, the light on good qualities of authentic leadership. And yeah, to elevate it, bring in a heartfelt story. Finally, yeah, just ask us to unmute because you had the perfect to authentic leadership. But there was a quiet, or very few people responded aloud because most of us were muted. Beautifully done, and thank you. Back to you, Holmes. Well, back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Rozy. Zoom Master, I trouble you to spotlight me instead of Lydia. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rozy, for the evaluation. You have requested that I comment on your executive presence. And yes, there is an executive presence. Few tips on how you may want to further your executive presence. Number one, there was a slight moment you were adjusting what you were wearing. Do take note of that. Perhaps wear something more stable in the future. Number two, there were some moments in time where there were words that I personally would find as filler words. I would like to, maybe you want to consider all these words you can take out. Go straight and say, Holmes, do this, you'll be better. So Rozy, be direct. You will be more like an executive as you are. Thank you so much, Rozy. With that, I'd like to move on to the next evaluator, Yuseli, who will be evaluating the Toastmaster of the day. Yuseli believes that being true to ourselves and having self-awareness having self-awareness in order to build relationship with high standards and qualities is what authenticity is about. How are you, Yuseli?
Hi, Mr. General Evaluator. I am good, thanks. I hope you as well.
Thank you so much. Over to you, Yuseli. Let us know what you feel about the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to congratulate the Toastmaster of the day, Lydiah Wanjiku. You did a wonderful job today, Lydiah. Congratulations for that. Today, for my evaluation, I will evaluate you on two aspects. First is the preparation, and the second aspect is the performance during the meeting. For the preparation, as required at Leadership Speak, you had your WhatsApp group ready on time in order to plan the meeting, to connect with all the role players, and to facilitate communication between all the role players. Well done regarding that, and congratulations, so that ahead of time, everybody would know who will do this or that and who is having some troubles. And a great theme as a theme for today's meeting was chosen as well in collaboration with the educational speaker. Congratulations for that. And today you came well prepared and ready for the show to perform as the Toastmaster of the day. You were enthusiastic and you had a wonderful smile on your face when you started the meeting. You explained the theme of the meeting, and most importantly, you address the guests warmly to make them really welcome at the club and welcome to the meeting. Doing all the presentation, doing all your performance, you keep it short. Toastmaster Veronica, please. You keep it short and sweet. That kept the meeting one on time. Congratulations for that, because usually we go over the time. Today, you keep it like short and sweet. I really appreciate that. And for the next time, what I would like, and you manage well all the changes that happen during the meeting. What I would recommend you for the next time. First of all, before you start the meeting, and when I understand it may be difficult, when you just start the meeting, take a look at the chat, at the WhatsApp group, because sometimes there are some last changes and you didn't know about Toastmaster Gerda Felix. And we could see that in your face. You became really stressed and you were rubbing your hand like this, like that, and all the stress appears on your face. So you didn't catch the information. But after you got all the information, especially regarding the educational speaker, and you take power over the meeting. Next time, control your stress and step back from the office that you are using, because when you are stressed, you grab on the office like this. So take it back, keep your hand like free to make better body language. Other than that, congratulations. I appreciate the meeting, and I appreciate the fact that you took the advantage of the educational speaker to manage and to get over your stress. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Yusli. I have an observation here. You were a lot more animated when you were giving suggestions and feedback. And when you were giving praise, you were less animated and had less pauses and vocal varieties. Something that I would encourage you to work on in the future is that when you are praising someone, for example, Lydiah this time, have a pause, for example. Lydiah, I'm so proud of you for what you have done today. Here are 3 points. Number 1, number 2, number 3. In this case, not just your suggestion, but also your compliments will sink deeper into the audience's ears, minds, and their hearts. Thank you so much, Yusli. With that, I'd like to invite the next evaluator, Irene, who is evaluating the educational speaker today. Irene believes that authentic leaders are genuine and sincere to who they are, and they inspire trust and commitment in their teams to not only get work done excellently, but build others like themselves. Irene, how are you today?
I'm very well, Mr. General Evaluator.
Oh, that sounds great. Now, Irene, over to you to let us know, what do you think of the educational speech today?
Holmes, thank you for this education speak that you have delivered this morning, evening, afternoon. I will tell you 2 things that you did well and 2 things that you could improve on. Number 1 is your delivery techniques. I thought that you asked thoughtful questions and you gave pauses that allowed us to think through what you have asked and internalize. Well done on that. You also had very neat slides. And your slides, as you wanted us to look at them, you raised your hand and raised the other hand. while keeping eye contact with us. You did that well. So that kept us engaged. I think you did that really, really well. Second point, you used stories, both yours and for other leaders. And while we may not have known those leaders, the stories were well crafted, well woven into your speech so that they added depth and we could relate. They were emotionally, there was emotional resonance with your stories. And you very well balanced your vulnerability and insight of your speech that kept the audience connected from the start to the very end of your speech. Places of suggestion to improve on. When you are handling, somewhere in your speech, you talked about guns and death, and you glided right through it, same tone. I would consider raising your voice, guns, and then give a purposeful pause. For us to really listen, there were guns and death right there to help us appreciate the emotional weight of what you were saying at that point. Second, excuse me. Second, you had a predilection to speak at one level, one tone. I suggest, would you raise your voice at some point where necessary? How would you do that? Internalize your speech better. And while I recognize that this was something you came into almost at the 11th hour, I would recommend that. Just process your speech more so that that comes out. So as I summarize, your message was heartfelt and vulnerable. It shows your vulnerability. Just make those slight adjustments about your tonal variation while paying attention to exactly what you're saying. And your delivery will be more powerful than you have delivered today. Overall, well done. I look forward to your next speech. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Irene. Before the meeting, Irene has requested that I focus whether her structure was clear and easy to follow in terms of an evaluation. I would say yes. She clearly laid out that there were 2 points that she wants to talk about in terms of what was well done, and then another 2 points on what can improve. A slight more of a feeling level feedback is that although the logical structure is clear, Irene may want to consider playing around with pauses or slightly different voice tonality so that it is easier on the emotional level to differentiate between what was well done and what could be improved. At the moment in time, it felt like everything was very, very serious, and it seems to be on the same page as equally important. Which is the most important point to you, Irene? Thank you so much. Let's move on to the next evaluator, Irene Stamatopoulou. Hello, Irene. Irene believes that authentic leadership is when you are leading in a way that leadership is aligned with your values, your integrity, and your vulnerability. It is when you bring your whole self to your work. Irene, how are you feeling today?
I'm really good, enjoying our meeting and our theme for today.
Awesome. Let's hear your feedback for our first speaker today. Over to you, Irene.
Thank you, Holmes. Dear Hannah, dear members, and dear guests, we had the honor today to hear a very nice structured speech, visionary. Hannah started with creating a scenery, and we could easily get into the theme because we created the events. I'm sure you have all now seen the marks, both up in the sky, but also on the sand by the sea. Hannah asked me to focus on all this awareness, her vocal variety, her poses and gestures. And I'm sure we are all impressed by her delivery. She used her hands and she opened her chest, and she also looked up in the sky when she was talking about those marks, but also she gave us very clear description of what a nerdle is. I believe that we will leave that meeting knowing that science cannot go forward without all persons involved. It is what we call citizen science in that field of study, which I'm also working on, sustainability. Apart from that, I would like Hannah to pay a little more attention in the time, because this was a great speech, and I noticed that she overlooked the time. But apart from that, I would like also to highlight that she did a very engaging question. She used the language properly, and the verb must is used only for specific times, but Hannah used it in an excellent way. Thank you, Hannah, for that. Summarizing, it was inspiring from the beginning to the end of the speech. She gave us very clear understanding of what are the three key elements of climate change, and we are looking forward to hear her next speech about the actions she will design. General Evaluator, over back to you.
Thank you so much, Irene. Before the meeting, Irene requested that I pay attention to her presence, whether she was confident and visible on the screen. For this evaluation, I realized that there was a big part of the evaluation whereby the visual was not very clear on my side. It could be my internet connection. I wasn't very clear. So I'm not able to clearly comment on the body language, but what I can comment is on the voice and the use of words. Overall, the voice displayed confidence in what Irene believes is well done by Hannah, as well as what the areas that can improve. Some words that did catch my attention that suggest a little bit of a lacking of confidence, which is I would like. Personally, I would feel that Irene would elicit more confidence if she said, Hannah, do this and you'll be better. Rather than, Hannah, I would like you to do this. Thank you so much, Irene. Next, I'd like to invite Phibian to evaluate the second speaker. Phibian believes that authentic leadership is crucial, and he is actively committed to maintaining consistency in his standards. How are you, Phibian?
I'm great, Holmes.
Awesome. Let's hear your evaluation for our second speaker for the day. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Sandra, when we connected, you indicated that you are looking for a new approach to this whole question of the communication style. And well, you took a well-worn Toastmasters topic and made it feel brand new. Communication style. We have all heard about them, but Sandra didn't just describe a style. She performed it. From the moment she spoke, I thought this is not someone stuck in a box. She brought her style alive through feedback from people around the world. She gave real, unscripted reflection that were honest. It was very funny, and she had lots of personality with it. And one of the things that I could vividly remember is that phrase, TED Talk meets podcast, baby. That is stuck in my head right now. Sandra's use of humor, heart, and storytelling made her speech clear. She got it. She have that directness of that truth teller, the supportiveness of a coach, and also the spark of someone who can light up a room. Because I also caught a moment during her speech in a deep reflection. And I believe that is her analytical side speaking through. Now, if I could just offer one small tweak to your presentation, Sandra, it would be to take a brief moment to connect your story back to the 4 official Toastmasters story style, Toastmaster communication style. Just so we can clearly see how your journey aligns with the project goal. So by giving a quick recap, this is where I showed direct. Here is where I showed support. Here is where supportive showed up. This would tie everything back beautifully. But Sandra, you didn't just meet your project objective, you turned it into a masterclass. And you showed us what communications look like when it's real, bold, and full of purpose. So if I were to say what's your communication style today, it is very unforgettable. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Phibian. Before the meeting, Phibian has requested that I look at a number of things, and one of them is, did he speak with executive presence? Phibian, your voice was full, and that is good. However, something today did you quite a bit of a disadvantage, which is the body posture and the location of your camera. You were sitting side facing. So in this kind of context, it makes me feel like, are we in some cafe or coffee shop having drinks with one another, rather than in the face, whereby it's more of a serious conversation that we have. This may be something you might want to look at for future evaluations. Thank you so much, Phibian. I'd like to invite the next evaluator, Francoise. She believes that if one wishes to have an authentic leather belt to wear for years, will they go for counterfeit that will place them in more expense than the cost of an authentic one? No. Authenticity looks at long term. Hello, how are you? How are you feeling today?
I'm getting better, thank you. While I'm still on the sick leave, I'm getting better. So I'm grateful that I can still lend a voice in evaluation here. My leader, Toastmaster Luciano. What a beautiful icebreaker speech. I definitely enjoyed it, and I've recognized that persons who were watching it with their cameras on, I could tell that they too enjoyed your speech. One of the things that I recognized that you provided content that reflected to the title of the speech, my journey. And that is highly commended, because sometimes, just like myself, we have a topic, but we are way off. And you gave one that was stick to the title. Now, it's an icebreaker speech, and we all know that in icebreaker speeches in community clubs, they are spoken at an entry-level Toastmaster. But in an advanced club, the icebreaker is more deep, and where the content is knowing you, the individual, why you have taken this pathway, how will you implement it, and your mini SWOT analysis. An icebreaker for advanced speakers is getting back to basic, as you rightly stated. Now, there are some things you wanted me to look on for you, which was clarity, vocal variety, and gestures. Your vocal variety, when making solid points, matched with the tone. And that's what you want. It's like a call to action. For example, when you spoke about to improve better, someone said it in the chat about why am I a Toastmaster? And your tone with it matched it. Another one is the physical gestures. I've noticed it was a bit minimal because I can tell that you're seated. And what you want to balance with hand gestures, so the facial expressions as well. So you have both working hand in hand. And with regards to the third one, which is clarity, it was clear. And the mind flowed and followed what you were saying. What you may want to work on, the tech side of the light. I'm not sure if the light was not in a strategic location, but the way to the camera, you're a bit close, and I guess you must have recognized your appearance was a little dark. You want to work on that. And my final thought is to challenge yourself. Practice the use of the effective light when giving your presentation. Keep that smile and also know when to use it. For example, when it's a serious point, you know you have to minimize that smile because you're serious. And I'm serious right now. Keep ironing irons through your speeches. Back over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Francois. One of the things that Francois requested that I take a look at is her executive presence. Today, Francois spoke clearly with structure as well as signaling words. Take a look at this. Moving on. So she had this present. What she may want to work on is that majority of her evaluations were without hand gestures. And when she had a hand gesture, she had a pen in her hand. So that was, are you taking notes and writing things? Well, are you giving evaluation? In the next time, I would suggest fully focus on the evaluation. If need be, just take down a few words and remember those words and follow those few words that will take you through entire evaluation while you look straight in the camera with both of your hands working in your favor. Thank you so much. Last but not least, I would like to invite the evaluator for our fourth speaker, Veronica. Veronica believes in the importance of authentic leadership because it itself embodies leadership. Veronica, how are you feeling today?
Good, Helms. How are you?
Good. Now, let's hear your feedback for our fourth prepared speaker.
Today, I'm so elated to be evaluating a lady whom I've seen having so much commitment to Toastmasters and has made an effort to speak every time. Bindu, who are you? I like the title of your speech because it made me more inquisitive in wanting to understand your speech objective, which are on emotional intelligence, and how the question aligns with your speech. You went on to answer your own question by telling us who you are and how your work impacted on your emotions, which I could relate because sometimes our work pressures make us less emotionally observant of how we relate with others. You introduced vocal variety, which was one of the issues that you had asked me to observe, but not all the time. For example, when you were talking about your colleague whose child was not well, the voice was the same as in a normal conversation. I thought you'd start with a pause. Madam, my child has got Down syndrome. This is why I come late. Then you pause and then you continue. So I would encourage you to introduce pauses as a way of making the audience master or digest your speech and make it more understandable, because this is about emotions. So you also want us to realize the emotions. What I would want you to work on, when you started your presentation, I think because of the network connectivity, your picture quality was not so clear, and so was your voice. It was a bit jerky. If it was about the network, it's very difficult to manage that. Maybe just ensure that next time you are in a place where your connectivity is better. But in terms of your picture quality, I would encourage you to clean up your camera just to be sure there is no debris or something that interferes with the quality of your picture. Other than that, I would encourage yourself to speak more like everyone's been doing, and then maybe conclude by a call to action. You spoke about how emotions impact your relationships and that angers can jeopardize your relationship. You could conclude by saying, try and monitor the impact of your emotions on how you relate with other people, because you are talking about emotional awareness. Otherwise, well done. It was a beautiful speech.
Thank you so much,
Veronica. Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Veronica. One of the things that Veronica has requested that I pay attention to was the structure clear and easy to follow? Veronica, you were generous in giving a lot of different tips and feedback, and this is something that I want to encourage you to continue doing. What would help to structure this feedback is to be able to number those feedback as you go along the way, and then at the very end of your evaluation, give a conclusion. One of the things you may want to also consider is, among the different feedback that you have, which is the most important one that would really make a difference if your speaker just did that one thing. And encourage you to continue connecting with your speaker. Thank you so much, Veronica. I'd like to invite the timer to put up the timing of all our evaluators today. I would also like to invite our grammarian, Robin Stone, for his grammarian report. Before that, Robin, how are you feeling? You're one of our newest members, and I'm very proud to have you in the club.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Holmes. Really insightful meeting, educational, and I really enjoyed it. I'm very pleased that I've joined this club. I think there's going to be a lot of learning in the future. So thank you for that. I'm just going to be very brief. I know we're slightly behind on time, with the grammarian's report, the word of the day, vulnerable. I didn't want to take a word that is too easy, like, for example, authentic, because that would have been cleared in no time. But I think our speakers, although they spoke very well, great use of language, great English, were not vulnerable by and large. And so we had a handful, a literal handful of uses of that word. And I think that's a pity because I took note in all of the speeches, one could easily have slipped a sentence with the word vulnerable in. So let's try and remember that next time, even though the word might be a bit awkward, to try and fit it in. Otherwise, we've got really, really impressive language. Some of it's already been mentioned this evening. I liked a few of them. Planet Earth is waiting. Holmes, you yourself, your speech was an absolute. I just made so many notes from it of the use of the language. The words were specially, purposely chosen. And I think we really appreciate that. For example, one of the vulnerable ones you could have used is you show up when you are being tested. And that's an example of actually vulnerability. So reputation takes place over alignment and stand for what matters. I really like that. I also got the one about the podcast baby. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. Thank you. Thank you for that. And practice, practice, practice. Of course, that is what the famous golfer Gary Player said. The more I practice, luckier I get. So there it is. And so thank you very much, Hans, and back to you.
Thank you so much, Robin. Being a grammarian is not easy because he had to listen to the entire meeting from start to end and take plenty of notes. For that, Robin did well. A challenge for Robin is that as he notes the various good practices, how about also identifying one or two of those specific techniques so he can better educate all meeting participants? What is the technique to look out for and how to use it in their next speech? Thank you so much, Robin. With that, I'd like to move on to my general evaluation. Members and guests, I'd like to share with you one perspective which I learned from my friends in the airline industry. The best airline is not discovered when everything is in perfect order. The best airline is discovered when everything is not working in order, and yet the customer's experience is equally good, if not better. This is the power of systems. Members and guests, it is with this perspective I like everyone to relook at what happened throughout the meeting. If you have noticed, by looking at the agenda, there were actually a number of speakers that should have spoken but did not happen, but they did not speak today. Somebody else spoke, or we took out an entire section. Yet, our Toastmasters of the day and a whole team of people behind the scenes are working hard to make sure that the show must go on. This is the attitude that we take on in Leadership Speak, the premier club for self-directed leaders. When we see a need and we are the best person to address the need, we step up. Yes, we will invite others. Yes, we will want to work in a team. But the fundamental criteria here is that we are self-directed leaders. We don't wait for other people. Do this, do this, do this. We step up. This is the club culture. Some feedback to those other role players which did not have a feedback on. The SAA. Gada, thank you so much for being the SAA today. I just had a call with you an hour before the meeting. And yes, I see that you have done better. You have taken in some of my key suggestions. In your essay, though, I do realize you may have been a bit nervous. It's okay. Similar to many of us here, even as I speak, I'm a little bit nervous. Slow down. Breathe. And smile. Because the SAA is one of the first impression people, and we want to give everyone a good impression, especially our guest who is coming to our home, Leadership Speak, to have a good time here. Aside from that, I would say that I'm very, very proud of the entire team. Not just those who have spoken today, but also those behind the scenes, the educational committee, the incoming as well as the outgoing exco, that have helped every single role player perform as best as they could. Members and especially guests, this is a Toastmaster Club, a premier club for self-directed leaders. We make no claim that we are perfect. We make no claim that we will not make mistake. We will make mistake. We are humans. But we are brave and courageous enough to be vulnerable. I cannot perform this role. Confess. Just tell the team. There's no need to justify and give long explanations. Just say certain things needs to be done. If you can or cannot do it, and we get what needs to be done, done. This is a premier club. This is what a real advanced club is. Thank you so much to all my team who has played an excellent role to ensure that in this meeting, the show not just went on, it went on well. Thank you so much. With that, I would like to invite the Zoom Master to launch the poll for the evaluators. Guests, as we take a moment to assess which of the evaluators may be best, I would also like you to do a short recap that most, if not all, the evaluators make clear mention of what is the project goals and even the learning goals between the evaluators and speaker. This is one of the hidden gems of Leadership Speak. Partnership, because it is the dedicated feedback that addresses your learning goals that will truly help you to shine brighter and brighter each and every time you come to a chapter meeting and you take on the role. With that, thank you so much, everyone. I would like to hand over back the time to the Toastmaster of the day, Lydiah.
Thank you very much, our General Evaluator. You've given us all that to get from a General Evaluator. And thank you also for appreciating members who stepped in when there were challenges. Thank you so much for that. And now let me welcome Toastmaster Angela Brown to give us the thoughts for the day. Over to you, Angela. Hi, Angela. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Welcome, welcome. Over to you to give us the thought of the day.
authentic leaders are not perfect. They're present. They don't have all the answers, but they're grounded in what matters. It's by unknown author. Good evening, good morning, all those masters and guests. As we close today's meeting, I invite you to reflect on what it truly means to be an authentic leader. Authentic leadership, as we heard by our toast and grammarian Holmes Tang, that is like a compass. It helps you stay aligned with your purpose, especially when things get tough. It's not about putting on a perfect mask or leading with authority. It's about being anchored in your purpose, in your values, showing with consistency, and being fully present even when no one's watching. We also heard that authentic leadership is a daily practice, like brushing your teeth or showing kindness. It's built in the small moments, the way we speak to others, how we handle mistakes, and the courage we show when we're uncertain. You don't need a title to lead. You just need to be you, fully and unapologetically. So as we go into the week ahead, ask yourself, what anchors me? Where can I lead with more presence? And how can I show up, not just as a leader, but as a real one? Because the world doesn't need more perfect people. It needs more authentic ones. Thank you and see you next meeting.
Thank you. Thank you, Angela. That's very powerful. The world doesn't need perfect leaders. It needs authentic leaders. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now let me invite our education coach and president of Leadership Speak, DTM Bram Memon, to engage with our guests, very important people in this room. Over to you, Bram. How are you, Bram?
Hey, Lydia, thank you very much. I'm doing amazing today. The reason why I'm doing amazing is because of the way this meeting unfolded with grace and smoothly, despite what happens in the background. So thank you very much, Lydia and Holmes, for conducting this meeting to the excellence we are used to. We have several guests that have signed the guest book, but they had to leave a bit earlier, and they did indicate that, and I've already spoken to one or two who signed the guest book. So let's have a look at what's going on right now on the screen here. And the very first person I see that I haven't spoken to or who hasn't signed our guest book, guess what? It's Dan Mukendi. Dan, are you there, Dan Mukendi?
Yes, I am.
All right. So let's spotlight you with me. And Dan Mukendi, where are you from? Are you from Kenya by any chance?
No, there is a famous Dan in Kenya, but unfortunately I can't.
You can compete with Dan Odero, of course.
I'm from South Africa. I'm a Toastmaster from two clubs, L'Avenir, which is a bilingual club, French and English, and Speak, one of the oldest club in the district, which is probably 40 years old. They're just a little bit over 40 years old. So
great.
Visiting just to have a different Toastmaster experience.
Was it different?
It's amazingly similar, but it's, at the same time, which is good, because then I understand all the roles, and especially I like the international nature of the club, and the diversity. So that's really appealing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we have members from 29 different countries, and we'll be adding more countries soon. So are you thinking of becoming a member in the future?
Not yet. I'm dual member. So
Sure, of course. I understand.
Over time. So one thing I do encourage my other members is to look around. and shop around for a sister club. So I do attend many clubs to be able to give advice on where to look for that other club that will either for speaking opportunity or for potentially joining. So I will not necessarily be joining this club, but I will encourage more people to visit so that
Absolutely.
Toastmaster in its broader sense.
Yeah, we have quite a number of people from South Africa, from District 74 and 129, I believe, the newer district, whichever that is. I believe it's 129.
Yes.
Dan, thank you so much for visiting us, and we hope to see you as many times as you like to come and visit and learn as much as you can. Thank you very much.
Thank
you. Our next person that I can see is on my screen is Indila Nepela from Namibia. Indila, are you there? So while we are waiting for Indila, N. Yator, Michael Navari, are you guys there?
I'm here, Michael.
Michael Navari, how are you?
Yes,
Put up a video,
very
Michael.
well. Yes, I'm driving, sort of. I'm in the car.
Oh, all
So
right.
just allow me
Well,
to
that's
put another-
dedication, Michael. You are in a car, but you're still in a meeting after a couple of hours. That's amazing. How did you find our meeting while you were driving? I hope you were driving safe, by the way.
I mean, I parked then, but now I've just left.
Uh-huh.
So the meeting is actually wonderful. I like the international nature of the meeting. It's very diverse, very engaging. And when you call yourself a premier club, this is really a premier club. I have learned a few things I wish we could incorporate in our club.
By all means, come as many
Yes.
times as you like as a guest, but are you thinking of becoming a member?
Actually, this is the first experience. I didn't fully experience. I got a
I
chance
see.
to listen to the speeches.
Sure.
But I'd like to come one more time, and it's
Absolutely.
something what to considering, and it's something I think I should consider myself.
Mm-hmm. We would love to have you come as a guest again. And next week is our final meeting for this particular year. It's going to be an amazing event. It's more like an event than a meeting next week because it's the awards and recognition meeting. We will have one or two speeches, of course, by people who are getting awards and so on. So please do visit.
Okay, sure. I will.
Michael, looking forward. By the way, where are you from, Michael?
Nairobi, Kenya.
Habari yako?
Mzuri sana.
Karibu tu.
Asante.
Haya, tuonana.
Thank you.
Next, we have N. Yator and Indila Nepela. If they are not here, then we will move forward. And I will hand this. Oh, and we do have Gavin Lamb from all the way from New Zealand. By now, it's about 4 o'clock or God knows what unearthly time it is there. Gavin, thank you for being here. I know that you are just visiting and passing through. You've done this a couple of times before. Any comments for this meeting?
This meeting in particular was amazing by the power and the dynamic diversity of the speeches, the educational. I mean, I can't give any higher praise than I will be going to Zoom to watch it again, to take notes and examine just some of the techniques that he used.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Gavin, for visiting, and please do visit whenever you can. I know it's very late in your part of the world. Do you ever sleep, Gavin?
It makes it difficult because that's one of the things. Like, I'm on the project to do 100 speeches in 100 clubs around the world. So
Right.
I get a chance to see, you know, so many different ways of approaching things and, you know, different segments of the meetings makes, you know, great diversity in the clubs within Toastmasters.
Awesome. Great. Well, I hope you meet your, if you haven't met your goal, that you'll meet your goal soon for the 100 clubs. Thank you very much. We'll move on to, let's see now, who else is here on my screen. I don't see anybody else that's here. I would like to recognize Robin Stone. Hi, Robin. Are you still there? Well, he joined recently. He was with us in My Speak Toastmasters before, and slowly they are joining here. Robin, we didn't even have to tell you how to do that role. How come? How did you know? How did you know how to do this role so well?
I probably, I mean, this is an advanced club, so
Yes.
I've probably done it hundreds of times elsewhere, you know. So
yes,
I had to step it up a little bit today to try and meet the standards. Well, I don't know if I met the standards, but I
you do.
certainly.
I mean, we ran My Speak as an advanced club, right? So
yeah,
and that's the template I'd created for My Speak, and we brought it here and we created it there. So you just fit it in like a glove today.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you. When are you doing your DTM project, Robin?
I'll only be doing that in the second half of the year. I'm just incredibly busy at the moment, so I've got every. And I think this is the right place to do it because
absolutely,
you can see there's a lot of interest and integrity and all that kind of thing. So, yeah.
Yes, you should, like I said before, you will meet Tony. He's not here. He's also very busy until the end of June, and then you can meet Tony. He's right up your alley where you want to do your project for your DTM. So he might be a good resource for that.
I look forward to doing that. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, thanks, Dormin. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I will now hand this back to our incredible, amazing Toastmaster of the day, Lydiah Wanjiku.
Thank you very much, Abraham, our president. Now, let me ask our Zoom master to display the awards for better speaker and better evaluator. Zoom master. Sandra Valks. Congratulations, Sandra.
Thank you. That was a fun one.
Better evaluator.
And I was just putting in the message there. I just went on TI and completed a level. So there's another
Rozy Rana.
Another for leadership speak.
Congratulations, Rozy.
There were
Well
some
done.
winners. So there's Rozy, Phibian, and a couple of others as well.
Phibian, Irene. Okay. We have
Nice.
Phibian, Jasse, congratulations. Then we have Irene, congratulations. Thank you very much. Irene, Sadia. Congratulations, Irene. Thank you very much. Now we have now come to the end of our authentic leadership meeting today, which was excellent. It has gone on very well despite the challenges that we had. And may I request the Zoom master to stop the recording?